thing. Oh, wait, did I need to turn my mic on? Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. See, I'm new at this whole YouTube streaming thing. So can people hear me now? Can you hear me now? Please, somebody tell me. Can I hear? Can you hear? I say I can't hear. He's muted. Saved. Oof. Oof. Exactly. Hey, very dark. Oof. Yo, Tommy. All right, there we go. Perfect. Okay, I got this really cool mic. Look at it. It's red. And look, doesn't this look cool? So cool. Anyway, I like this thing just because it's red and it glows. Anyway, okay, cool. Well, people are starting to come on in, and yeah, because my mic was muted before, you probably didn't hear me. But my name is Tommy Tellerico, and I've been in the video game industry for over 30 years. And I've worked on over 350 video games. And I actually hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the person who's worked on the most video games in their lifetime, which is kind of crazy, kind of a cool honor. My mother's very proud. And my dad always says, oh, all those quarters we gave you growing up finally paid off. So anyway, yeah, so if you want to learn more about my history or the video games I've worked on, you can check out my website, tellerico.com, and there's a bio section there. Tells you a lot about what I've done. But aside from, doing video game music components, some of the games I've been involved with, by the way, is the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which some of you might know, Earthworm Jim, Metroid Prime with Shigeru Miyamoto. Worked on that for a couple of years. He was Shigeru Miyamoto, for those of you who don't know, is the guy who created Mario and Zelda, and is just the greatest game designer ever of all time. So great honor to work with him. I worked on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, Disney's Aladdin. Again, you can go to my website and see all the games that I worked on. And I guess I can now add Roblox to that list of games that I indirectly kind of worked on. But aside from being a video game composer, I also was the host of a TV show about video games for many years. It started in 1994, and it ran. I was part of the program for 12 years. It was called Reviews on the Run and Judgment Day. It had two different names for the same show. One name, it was called Reviews on the Run in Canada and everywhere else in the world, but in the United States, it was called Judgment Day. And the other show was called Electric Playground. And these shows were created by a great friend of mine, Victor Lucas, who still does Electric Playground to this day. So if you're looking for really amazing video game coverage and reviews and footage and stuff like that, check out the Electric Playground on YouTube. He does a fantastic job, very, very professional. And for me, he's the guy who knows the most about video games in the entire planet. I've never met somebody more knowledgeable about video games than Victor Lucas. Anyway, I did that for many years while I was still composing games. I started a nonprofit organization called the Game Audio Network Guild. That was 18 years ago. The letters spell out gang. And so if anyone's interested in getting into the video game industry to do sound and music, and any kind of audio, please check out audiogang.org. It's a nonprofit organization. I'm not involved with the organization anymore because of all the things that I've been doing, but it's a great organization, and anyone interested in getting into video game music and audio should definitely check that out. And then 18 years ago, I also created the live touring symphony show called Video Games Live, where I take music, all the greatest video game music of all time, and play it with a big symphony orchestra. And I play guitar on some of the songs, but I host the show as well. and it travels all over the world. So wherever we're at, we use the orchestra or symphony of that city or that country. And yeah, we actually own the Guinness World Record for that show, as well as the longest running touring symphony show. We've done over 520 performances all over the world. That website's videogameslive.com. I've been doing a lot less of those live shows lately, because over the last 2.5 years, I became president and CEO of Intellivision Entertainment. And I know we have a lot of younger folks here checking out the stream today. So some of you may not know that Intellivision was one of the first home consoles, cartridge-based consoles, part of the second generation, they call it, to ever come out. It came out in 1979, and it was one of the big rivals of the Atari. They had a console called the Atari 2600, and Intellivision owned about 20% of the home console market, and Atari owned about the other 85 or 80%. So Atari was the more, known machine, but Intellivision sold millions and millions of units, and it was really a fantastic and very unique and different machine back then. Well, 40 years later, we're actually coming out with a brand new video game machine that's different from the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox and the PlayStation. It's called the Intellivision Amico. And the amico is the Italian word for friend. And the whole difference between this console and all the others that are out there is that this is a simple, affordable family console, so that a ton of people who maybe aren't hardcore gamers or just casual gamers, where everybody can kind of come together and play in the same room together. So it's all about couch co-op, because when I was growing up, we didn't have the internet, and everybody used to play video games in the same room together. And we've kind of seen that go away. Remember, I don't know if any of you remember the Nintendo Wii. This is a great machine that came out, that was 14 years ago. And it's kind of similar to that in that it's simple, and we want everyone to come and play together, no matter what your skill level is. Anyway, if you're interested in that, you can check out our website, IntellivisionAmico.com. Okay, so I wanted to get all of that personal stuff out of the way for folks who may not know who I am, or who I am in the industry, or all that. So that's out of the way. Now I can see that there's a ton of people coming in to the, I'm watching just, I don't know how you streamer folks do this. This is like unbelievable. like it's going by so fast. I cannot possibly read all this stuff. Oh, is Creekcraft in here? I like that dude. I didn't know who, I don't follow the Roblox universe. There he is, Creekcraft. He's got the smile face. I really like his videos. I only found out about him a couple weeks ago, but I started watching all of his videos, and he's really, I can see why he's so popular, because he's very well spoken, very passionate, and really like that. So anyway, glad to see you here. I appreciate it. So let's get into. So I'm going to try to block out all of the things for now, because I do want to answer everybody's questions. But I thought what first I would do is talk about how the oof sound was created. Because I know a lot of people are here, and I don't want to kind of like talk about stuff and then like save that to the end. So I wanted to kind of get this right from because I know a lot of people are interested, and I think it's maybe part of the controversy as well, is that, well, it's just a 0.4 second long sound and this and that. So anyway, I wanted to let folks know how I created the sound, how we created the sound, myself and my sound designer, Joey Curris. whose name appears in the metadata of the sound, because he was the one who saved it out. But anyway, I thought it'd be really interesting for folks to know how I created the sound, what made it so unique, and how it came to be. So the answer is, I think a lot of you know, is the sound came from a game called Messiah. Messiah was a game done by Shiny Entertainment. Now, Shiny Entertainment, a lot of people think that I own the game or own that company. That actually isn't the case. Shiny Entertainment was owned at the time and run by a guy by the name of David Perry. David Perry is an amazing, you can look him up on Wikipedia as well. And David is an incredibly talented person. And Shiny is the company that I also did Earthworm Jim with. If anyone, folks out there, remember the game Earthworm Jim, this was the company, Shiny. And before Shiny, we all worked at a company called Virgin Games. I know that's kind of a funny name, but it was called Virgin Games, and then it was first called Virgin Mastertronic, then Virgin Games, then Virgin Interactive. That's a company that I worked at in the early 90s, like from 1990 to 1994. And we came out with a bunch of really cool games on the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the NES, the Nintendo NES, and the Nintendo Game Boy. Those were the systems I was working on while working there. And of course, then the Sega CD started to come in and things like that. But and the PC CD-ROM was just starting to take off. So all of us at Shiny kind of met at Virgin, and we all worked together on a game called Global Gladiators was the first game on the Sega Genesis, which won Game of the Year, and I won Audio of the Year for that game. The second game we worked on together was called Cool Spot, which again was on the Sega Genesis, although we did do a Super Nintendo port, and that won Game of the Year. I think that was 1992 maybe, or 93. And then we all did Disney's Aladdin together, which again won Best Game of the Year. So we had won 3 years in a row, and it won Best Audio of the Year as well too. So by 1993, 94, we had all kind of decided to leave the company, and that's when they formed Shiny Entertainment. And that's when we did Earthworm Jim 1, which again won Game of the Year back then, and Audio of the Year from many websites and magazines. And then we did Earthworm Jim 2 right after that. Then we did a game called MDK, which was really interesting about the game MDK was that was the first video game ever to have a sniper scope in the game where you could actually zoom in with a sniper scope. And that was a PC game, which was later ported over to I think it was the Dreamcast, a PlayStation, the Saturn, maybe it was a Sega Saturn, but it was ported over to the home consoles as well. But we did the first one at Shiny with MDK. And then we did Messiah, was one of those, kind of games after that. And Messiah was a PC game. It was about this little baby who, was sent down from God to Earth. And anyway, so you played this baby with wings. The baby's name was Bob. And Bob was, so from a sound design approach, we'd all sit down and we'd have meetings after meetings after meetings. And I actually have video of us creating some of the sounds and voice effects for Messiah. So I think I'll share that with everyone on the YouTube page if they're interested in seeing some of that video. I also have all the original DAT tapes. DAT stood for digital audio tape, where we recorded hours and hours of sounds that we had to go through and choose and pick and edit and do all this work to put before we put it in the game. So anyway, getting back to Bob and Messiah and the oof sound, how it came to be. So I kind of on Twitter, I kind of was messing around with people saying that there's a secret that no one knows about the oof sound, and I'm going to unveil it to everyone right now. And some people may not think it's, a secret at all or a big deal at all or anything, but I just thought I would have a little fun in giving this information out. But here it is. So the person who is the voice of the oof that everyone knows and loves. Now, even though the baby, his name was Bob, and it was a male, the person who I recorded was actually a little girl. So a lot of people might not know this, and it was a little girl, and it was somebody who worked. Her father worked at Shiny Entertainment. And the reason I wanted to use a little girl, because we affected everything. And this is really what I think people will find interesting. So it was a little baby, right? And so I wanted the baby, but it was kind of like this mature kind of game and mature situations and stuff. And I kind of wanted it to sound a little bit like, maybe like what you would think an Oompa Loompa would sound like or something. So I wanted it to have like a different effect. I didn't want it to just sound like a little baby, because the baby actually spoke in the game. So even though it looked like a baby, it was clearly not old enough to speak. Right. But in the game, they did spoke because he was an angel and it was a little baby with wings and stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, how the heck can I create something that really doesn't exist? Right. But we want to emote. So this is what I did to kind of get a different sound. I figured, let me record a little girl, maybe around the age of 7 or 8 years old, or maybe even younger than that. I don't remember exactly how old she was. She might have been 6 or 7. But let me record that voice. Then what we did is we went through, all the different lines, because what you do with a sound designer is you get a list of all the things you want the character needs to do. It needs to die. It needs to bump into things. It needs to land on the ground. It needs to, jump in the air and giggle and smile and feel pain and all these different things. There's literally like 100 different sounds that were recorded, for this character. And I thought maybe it would be fun to actually release a video to everybody if they're interested of all the different things that the character says in the game, because I have them all, and a whole bunch of oofs that I never actually that were never actually made it into the game. And in fact, it's interesting, the oof sound itself in the game was never meant to be a die sound. The oof was just, it was either used when they landed very hard, oof, right? Or if they were running fast and bumped into something, oof, like that. So that's why it sounds like oof. Because when you think of it, a death sound, no one would say oof when they die. They wouldn't be like, oof. To die, they'd be like, something like that. But anyway, so I took this little girl's, we took the clip, right? And then what we did is we edited it, and we kept the length of the sound, but then pitch shifted it down. And that gives it a different, unique, a unique flavor when you keep the pitch. Because if you just have like oof like that, and then you just pitch it down without keeping the duration, it'll actually go slower, because so it would be like oof like that, right? And it'll sound deep and it'll sound weird and it won't sound right. So we took that sound and then went oof, like that. But then we did a whole bunch of other stuff to it as well. So after we pitch shifted it down, and then you have to put things like reverb and maybe some digital delay. And then we had to EQ it, that's equalize it. So sometimes you bring the basses up and the mids down and the high end up. And a lot of times you get like this V kind of or U kind of sound, sound spectrum on the equalizer. But you really want to get kind of specific. So there was a lot of, time and energy, and we'll say, I want to say this right. I mean, it took a lot of my knowledge of audio to create this sound and make it sound unique. Anyway, so I thought that would be interesting to some people about that the sound, how it was kind of created, how we, manipulated the sound to get it to sound the way it was, and that it was actually a little girl. Okay, now let's go. Now that people know about me, they know about how I created the Roblox sound. Let's now go into the stuff that probably a lot of you are here for to talk about, which is the Roblox sound effect. Am I suing Roblox? What's happening? How much money am I asking for? Why are they not doing that? Blah, 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 all this stuff, right? So I need to start off by saying this, that you have to understand, I am in although sometimes I might like a tweet that may sound disparaging to Roblox or anything. I just need to say that I have nothing against Roblox. I don't want people to hate them. I don't want people to stop playing the game. I don't want people to be angry at them in any way, just like I don't want people to be angry at me in any way. My understanding from what I was told, and I don't even know this to be true or not, but it's what I was told, was that the sound, see, there's a lot of these internet websites out there, especially back in the day, back in the early 2000s, there were websites that would just take stuff from people and then gather them together on a sound effect website and say, here's a bunch of royalty-free sounds. And it would be like Homer Simpson's "Dope," and it would be, R2-D2 sounds, and, all clearly sounds that were, owned by, that were done by other people. But, websites, especially in the early days, were willing to do anything to get people to kind of click on their website because they would make money by putting advertisements all over the site. So the more clicks that they got, the more. So these kind of websites are very, unscrupulous, and you never knew which ones were legit or which ones weren't, and things like that. So my understanding is that the folks who created Roblox, and by the way, amazing, right? I mean, here's a couple of folks who were in a room together with a couple of people, and I know how hard it is to create companies. I mean, they have to be applauded for, they had an idea, they sat in a room, they worked very hard, and now it's, a $2.5 billion company. I mean, kudos to the folks who started Roblox, to make it from something they were probably started in their garage or something to this multi-billion-dollar company. That's to be commended. No matter what you think about Roblox or the decisions they made, I can tell you from being a business owner, that's amazing, and they're amazing, and they've created something where hundreds of millions of people have come to play and download, and this amazing community. And that doesn't happen a lot in the world. Yeah, you got your Minecraft as well. Okay, Fortnite is another big one for you. So but those are less than not. So that needs to be commended. And I think what I was told happened is that back then, when they were just a couple guys in a room and they were looking for sounds to put into this thing, They probably went to one of these websites that they didn't know wasn't legit, and they grabbed the sound and they put it in the game. So that's my understanding. Again, I don't know it to be 100% true, but that's what I was told. And so at the time and this whole time that the game's been in existence, I think somebody said 14 years now, 14 or 15 years, they came to last year, it came to my attention that now keep in mind, some people are saying like, how the heck didn't know that the oof sound was, why are you finding out about this now? Well, it's because I never played the game. That's why. And if you're not in the Roblox world or paying attention to Roblox memes, or if you're not watching Roblox YouTube channels, then I don't, and I don't have kids who play the game. I don't have kids, but and so maybe if I had kids and they were playing the game, maybe I would. But you have to understand too, I've worked on 350 games, okay? And each of those games probably have hundreds, if not thousands, of sound effects, right? From footsteps to gun sounds to oofs to a million other things you can think of. In fact, I came out with a sound effect library called the SFX Kit that has 17,000 sounds of ours on it. And that is only a small fraction of the stuff that we've done. So if you can imagine, how the heck am I supposed to remember an oof sound from 20 years ago? Even if I did hear it in the game, I probably wouldn't have, known initially that it was my sound. So it was pointed out that the sound was mine to me last year on Twitter, because so you say, well, how can you be sure? Well, if you take the sound not only that was distributed in the game, but if you also take the sound that they still distribute on their website, the oof sound is right there. If you download that, and you can use different programs, you can't just hit like properties and see what it is. You actually have to get the metadata from programs, and there are free programs all over the place. But if you look at the metadata, it shows the date the sound was created, which was in September, I believe, of 1999, which was a couple months before the Messiah game came out. And it also lists in there the program that we used back then to edit all the sounds, which is called SoundForge. I think it was 4.5 at the time. I think they're up to SoundForge 17 now, and I still use a product. But then it also had my sound designer's name, Joey Curris, in the sound. So it is the exact sound. So if anyone were wondering, is it really the exact sound? It is. It's documented like that. So I had found out, I forget when it was last year. I'd have to go back on my Twitter and find out. I think it was, I want to say maybe spring of maybe about 10 months ago or something. And I found out about it, and I made sure I checked that. Oh yeah, there's our metadata. Yep, this is exactly our sound. So I have I have attorneys that I have teams of attorneys for, and television has, attorneys that do licensing. We have attorneys that do our corporate business. We have attorneys that do our patent attorneys. So we have lots of different attorneys. And then I have Tommy Tellerico Studios. I have two attorneys for that, different attorneys, business managers, and then in my video games live show, I have complete different attorneys for that. So you can see, I probably, in all of my organizations, I would say that I easily have about 20 different lawyers working for us, doing different things at any given time. So anyway, I contacted my Tommy Tellerico Studios attorney, who's done a lot of work for me like this, probably for the last, I don't know, we've known each other for about 25 years. So I think probably 10, 15 years. he's, you know, kind of gone after stuff that is put out there that that, you know, I should be getting compensated for or whatever. So I contacted him and I went over the situation, and he says, well, look, let me contact the Roblox people. Ended up that he actually knew some of the folks at Roblox, which was great. You know, a lot of the legal folks have worked with each other before in lots of different capacities. And he reached out to those folks, and they, you know, let them know the situation. And, you know, we said, hey, you know, something should be done about this. And it's not, again, it's not like it's just some sound effect, some footstep sound that somebody, you know, kind of some throwaway sound that nobody paid attention to. This sound, unfortunately, became kind of the whole face of the franchise. You know, merchandise was created around. You can go online and see oof pillows and bed sheets and oof t-shirts and oof, you know, all these things. And of course, the meme went off, you know, seen by, you know, I think it's safe to say billions of views. People were creating oof music or using the oof sound. It's funny. I went on YouTube when I first heard about this, because again, I didn't really know anything about it. And I'm on YouTube and I put in oof or whatever. And then I sorted it by view count. And I think like the top view count, it's just like the sound on its own, oof. And there's like, I don't know, 25 million or maybe it's 40 million views or something. I'm like, what is going on here? So I mean, it, you know, as a creator and a sound designer, it made me feel happy that this sound that has become a part of pop culture was something that we created, even though we didn't create it for Roblox, but it was something that, you know, so it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool to a creator. I mean, a lot of times, the reason people create art or music or sound design and video games is so people out there will listen to their art and, you know, experience their art. So something like this, it's kind of cool for a creator to know that it's, you know, so revered and loved by so many people. But the idea is that this is a sound that helped to create the franchise, right? And that's, I think, where the you know, where the distance between what we feel and what Roblox feels is very different. To us, it's not just some sound that no one cares about that just happened to be mistakenly put in the game. This is something that helped to create the franchise itself. You know, that's our view. How many millions of people found out about the game Roblox because of a meme because of the sound, right? I mean, you know, kids on playgrounds all over the world repeat this sound, right? And so, you know, so I think just from a marketing aspect, if you think about it, the incredible, you know, the incredible thing that flourished. Some may say even that the reason Roblox is as popular as it is now may be because of the fact that so many people shared this oof sound. So I think that's where, you know, the disconnect comes into play. As I've said on Twitter, I never asked Roblox to remove the sound. If I wanted to, I could have easily sent a cease and desist letter. I could have sent a letter, very easy, cease and desist, stop using the sound. It's mine. You don't have permission to use it. Take it out of your game. I never said that. I never did that. We thought, like I said, you know, it's great that it's become such a big thing, and I don't want it to be removed because I don't want to ever. I wouldn't want to annoy the fans and the community that play the game. It's not, you know, fair to them. But it's also not fair to me that I don't get compensated for this, for the mistake. And so that's kind of, where everything is at. And I know, look, the Roblox community, as we all know, and it would admit to, they are, younger folks, and that's fine. And what I see in the Roblox community, no matter if you hate me because of, something you're thinking is happening that's not, or if you like me, or if you don't care, either way. But what's interesting to me is that there is so much passion in the Roblox community, so much passion, no matter what side you're on or somewhere in the middle. And to me, that's, I think, an amazing thing to see, is that this game has become so important to so many people that they care so dearly, again, no matter what side you're on, about, a simple sound, yet complex sound, that we created over 20 years ago. So, I don't hate the haters in this situation because, again, it's, I understand people are passionate, and I understand that people may think that I'm trying to shut down Roblox. I'm not. They may think that I'm currently suing Roblox. I'm not currently. They may think that, I'm trying to get the sound taken out of the game. I'm not. So yeah, that's kind of the situation where, we approached Roblox. We said, hey, there's a situation, and here's what, we think this is worth this much, but we're not going to ask for this much. We're going to ask for this much. And Roblox said, we think you should get this much. so, this much is what we think you should have. And that's where, look, it's business, right? This is where the disconnect is. I don't wish ill will on Roblox. Am I upset? A little bit, because I feel I'm being completely disrespected with the amount that they have countered with us. And to give you an idea, and I can't tell, people are going to say, well, how much did you ask for? Look, you have to understand that it is not professional of me to go around stating how much money I'm asking and how much they are offering. It's first of all, it's not very classy, first of all. Second of all, it's not very professional. And third of all, to be honest, none of your damn business. No, it's something, because I know people are passionate and they want to know, and this and that. And unless it goes to court and it there's a trial and there's a thing, people are never going to know, what it is. And there doesn't need to be that knowledge. But I will say this. I will say that the reason I'm upset about the situation is because what we feel is a fair amount and what they feel is a fair amount is not even in the ballpark of being in the same universe. So what do we do from here? We're trying to be as cool as possible. And I honestly believe that Roblox is trying to be as cool as possible, considering the situation as well. So what we're doing is we're going to keep trying to continue to figure out ways that are beneficial for both myself and Roblox, and at the end of the day, beneficial for the community, because I want to see the sound kept in. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I honestly hope that we don't have to go to court over this. I hope we don't. It's a long, drawn out process. It probably takes a couple of years. it's not going to cost me any money, actually. When you get attorneys in this kind of situation, it's a contingency basis, meaning the amount of money that they end up getting, they get a percentage of that money. So, because a lot of people think, oh, you never want to take it to court because it's a long, drawn out thing, and Roblox has a lot of money, and you don't have as much money as them. So eventually you'll run out of money and you won't pursue it. That's not the case in these type of situations. It's just a percentage. So it costs us nothing, right? So anyway, if anything, it's costing Roblox. I don't know, because their attorneys have to spend time on it. I don't know. But anyway, so I hope that it doesn't have to get to that point. I'm hoping that we can come together, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the middle, to make everyone happy before it gets to that. Now, if it does get to a position where it's just, I want this, they want here, and our compromise ends up being this, then that's a big issue. Then I will have to take measures that I normally wouldn't prefer. I'd prefer not to, but they would force me to. And again, no hard feelings. It's just business. And, and that's what we would have to do. Of course, at that point, when then you go to court, then I'm going to ask for this again, because now it's, if it has to go to court, then I have to, I have to go for what I feel I really am owed instead of trying to compromise, and I'll give you an idea. I used to get, and I don't even need to share this information with people, but I will. I would get 10 cents royalty on every single game that I did the sound design for. Not every, let me take that back. Not every single game, because different deals are structured differently. Sometimes you get more money up front to get less in the end. Other times you get less money up front and more back end, as they call it, or royalties. But my average and what I received for Messiah, for the game Messiah, in my contract for Messiah, which states that I own all of the sound design, right? I have the contract. It's sitting right here. Christ, I could show people. This is this is actually, is this it? No, it's not that. It's somewhere in here, but I have it right here. It's a pile of things because I had to dig it out. But it clearly says that I own, all of the stuff that I'm being hired for to do in this game, and that I get a 10-cent royalty. So now the game Roblox, although distributed for free, has been distributed hundreds of millions of times. Now, I'm not saying that I would deserve 10-cent royalty on hundreds of millions of games, because I didn't do all of the sound for the game. But maybe, what if you said 1 penny? 1 penny for every single time the game was distributed with my sound in it? I mean, if you add that up, it's like $30 or $40 million, right? And, so if they're going to push it and take it to court, there's no reason why we couldn't ask for that amount of money. We are not asking for that amount of money now. Not even remotely close to that are we asking. But I just thought it was interesting just to kind of give some kind of, what the very top end would be if, whatever. But anyway, we think we're asking for something extremely fair considering what it has done for the franchise. And they completely disagree. So that's where we are. So now I've kind of talked about that. I want to answer folks' questions. And before I start looking at this thread, I would kindly ask for people to maybe be respectful. That's all I'm saying. It's okay to dislike the situation, but, spewing out hatred or death threats, like some of the folks on Twitter have been doing, is immature, and no need for it. But I do want to say this. It's very important for me to say this too before I start reading. It's important for me to say this, that although there has been a lot of negativity thrown my way, there's also been an overwhelming amount of love and respect and niceties, more so than the hate of people, private messaging me on Twitter, or DMing me, and all this stuff. So I just want to say to the Roblox community out there, for the folks who've kind of been nice and saying, hey, don't worry about that, thank you so much. It does mean a lot, and I try to read every single one I can, and I even try to respond to as many as I can. You have to understand, I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of messages a day. I won't respond to any negative ones, and if you're really nasty, I'll block you. I don't care. I don't need to have this negativity in my life, right? And so if you keep going to just being a jerk about stuff, then I'm going to block you, and I don't want to hear from you. But I just want to say that there's been so much outpouring of positive messaging from the Roblox community, and I just want to thank everyone for that. So let me start reading some of your comments and some of your questions, and I'm going to try to answer as much as I can. But folks have to understand, we are in this negotiation still with Roblox in hopes that it'll turn into something positive for everyone. So there's going to be things I just can't answer, and I'll tell you I can't answer them and why. Okay, here we go. Is there a way I can pause this in case I want to? How do I? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, I can pause this. Okay, I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start with Smash JT. Says, I can vouch for Tommy being an incredible human being. I met him personally and was beyond impressed with how real he is. Thank you, Smash JT, aka Jeff, who has his video game channel, which you should check out as well. Smash JT on YouTube if you like hearing about video games. Okay, Awesome Shadow. Oh crap. Okay, Awesome Shadow. I played Roblox since 2013 after Eric Castle died and John quit. Roblox, the admin started hate by, okay, maybe I should, I'm not going to read, I'm going to just pick some of these so that in case people have questions. Your contribution to gaming and the game community have been tremendous. Thank you for everything. Thank you, DJ Rudden. At Creek Calf, must be nice to make so much money. Okay, I don't want to read negative stuff. I like Creek Craft stuff. Again, I haven't seen hundreds of videos. I've watched maybe 7 or 8 of his videos. I think he's fantastic. And I can understand why he's so popular. Okay. Let me see. I'm looking for a question here. Tommy Tellerico, you designed the sound. You have all the rights to control the sound. You're amazing. Thank you, Lightning Ace. All right, here's my first question. He says, "How much did you say for them to pay for the oof sound?" Okay, well, I've already gone over that. I can't talk about that. It would be unprofessional to talk about that. But I think I did describe that it's a lot more than what they were offering, which was barely anything at all. Okay, so what is your favorite composing work you've done? Asked Joey Ford. Thank you. That's a great question. I love working on the Earthworm Jim project. That was really fun. It's one of my favorite games that I've ever worked on. We're actually bringing Earthworm Jim back 25 years later. It's going to be an exclusive game for the Intellivision Amico. By the way, the new system Amico, it's coming out on 10/10/2020 of this year. So check us out on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook guy. I know the younger generation doesn't really, vibe on Facebook. So I try to do Twitter. Twitter and Facebook are my 2 big ones. But check out the Twitter channel of Intellivision Amico. you can follow it there if you're interested. But the best thing is you just sign up to the mailing list on the website. We don't spam people or anything like that. It's just when we have super big information, we give it to people in televisionamico.com. But my favorite music that I've ever written was for a game that not a lot of people know. It's called Advent Rising. And, feel free to check it out. And I wrote a big Italian opera. It was a group of people who I hired to help me as well. It wasn't just me. It was a team effort. And it's my favorite soundtrack that I've ever personally written for that game. In fact, cool thing about that. The person who created Advent Rising, his name is Donald Mustard. Donald Mustard is the guy who's pretty much in charge of and running Fortnite. How crazy is this, right? So the guy who's in charge of Fortnite and the creative aspects and elements of it is a guy who I worked with on a game, Advent Rising, which was a beautiful game. And if people are familiar with sci-fi writers, you might know the name Orson Scott Card. Orson Scott Card was the guy who wrote Ender's Game, which is a great movie as well. If you can check out the movie if you don't want to read the books. But Orson Scott Card helped write the story and dialogue for Advent Rising as well. So kind of some cool connections there. Okay, let me see. Joey. Okay, so that's one. I have got a bit heated about the situation, but I don't think you need death threats. Thank you. Hey, Tommy, I was wondering what you think about the game Roblox. That's a good question. Let me see. Okay. What do I think about the game? Well, first of all, I know you're going to hate me for this, but I've actually never played it. I've watched a lot of videos on it, but what I love about it is that it allows the community to create and be creative. That to me is so awesome. I wish more games did stuff like this. So, and I understand that there's kind of a toxic environment sometimes around, online stuff that you can't stop. And that's why for the Intellivision Amico, we actually don't allow online play. That's one of the reasons, because of that kind of, sometimes negativity and hate that surrounds online gaming. But what I love about it is the fact that so many people, young people, can use their minds, use their imaginations, and that Roblox gives them the tools to do that. I think is freaking awesome, and I love that. Similar to Minecraft, right? Okay. Oh, Creekcraft says, "How do you find the metadata for the sound? I'm an audio noob." Creekcraft, I'll send you. I'll send you a link. I don't have it right with me right now, but I'll send you a link on DM of a program that you can download, and then you just put the sound in there, and it'll show you the metadata. So I think if you look up, if you just did a Google search for audio metadata free or something like that, you'll probably get a lot of things. But I do actually have one that's really good. It's the one that I used to ensure, and I have a lot of super high-end expensive programs, audio programs that just show it to me anyway, but I wanted to run it through a couple different ones just to make sure. I'll DM folks, or maybe I'll post it on Twitter for everybody so that they can check it out if they'd like. Hyper Meme says, "Dude, you did not deserve the hate you're getting. I hope you know we're all backing you, as this is not your fault in any way. I hope you gain compensation." Thank you. I appreciate that. Amico Warlords, information, please, says Thomas. So Warlords was an old Atari game, and we got the rights and licenses to a lot of original games that came out. And Warlords was this really great multiplayer couch co-op style game. So he wants to know information. Well, the information is we got the license and we're doing the game, and it's going to be awesome. And that's all I really can tell you for now. Hopefully we might show it at E3 this year in June, but I don't think it will be ready by then. Okay, okay, what do you see? Let me see. You should sue Roblox. Everyone at my school knows and says the oof sound every time. I mean, that's kind of my point, is that like everybody knows this sound, and it's made the game Roblox go supersonic. It was part of the reason. Yes, of course, the game itself had to be good too, but imagine the billions of dollars in marketing that this sound has garnished, Roblox in a positive way. So, okay, let me see what else. What is the other things you do other than music and sound design? I've been a huge fan of your work since The Terminator. Oh, thanks. Yeah, The Terminator was the very first video game to ever use a live guitar in it. It was Terminator on the Sega CD. I think it came out in 1993. You can listen to it. It's a lot of like 80s rock type stuff in there. But if you go on YouTube and put in Terminator and Tellurico, you'll see the whole soundtrack come up. Please give it a listen. If you like rock and roll, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the other things I do, of course, I still do video games live, although a lot less. I do about one show a month. We used to do about 50 a year, so one a week. But I've had to drastically cut that down because all of my time, my focus is into creating this brand new video game system that I hope you all love and will play with your families and friends. What is your response to all the big YouTubers who are on your side? I mean, I appreciate it. I think it's great. A lot of times, negative stuff gets out there and people don't realize that it's fake news. And then people latch on to that, and then it just grows and grows and grows. But what I found is that these big YouTubers, they actually do, and again, the reason they're big is for a reason, because they have they do a lot of research. They're very thoughtful in how they approach, the information. They don't just like blindly take what somebody says and just run with it. These guys like Kitten out there is another one. I think they do very thoughtful, well educated responses and videos to this stuff. And I appreciate it because it's better than the opposite, which is, a couple of folks, out there completely lying, saying, I'm suing Roblox for $100 million and I'm going to get them shut down and I'm taking that. It's like, it's all just crap. I explain the real situation. Mondaddy 2 says, how are you? That's his question. I'm doing fine. How are you? Okay. Steve-O says, not a question. I'm here to say hi. Hope the issue gets resolved. Thank you. I do too. Okay. Tommy, when will we see a Kickstarter? Wait, damn. Every time I scroll down, it like jumps ahead. Where did that sound? Let me see. Let me go up. Oh my gosh, so many sounds. Will you ever stream? Somebody said, will you ever stream yourself playing Roblox? I totally should. Oh my gosh, that would be pretty fun. I would get blown away, I'm sure. And I would look and everyone would laugh their asses off because I would suck so bad probably. But I should totally do that. Oh my God, that'd be funny. I should replace the oof sound with me saying oof too. Maybe that would be funny. Okay. God, there's so much stuff. I lost it. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Nintendo Switch? Joey Ford says. Yeah, I mean, the Nintendo Switch, I mean, it's Nintendo. How can you not love Nintendo? I think there's, I personally have some issues with the Switch. Like their eShop, for example, I find it very difficult to like find stuff. I don't like a lot of the content that they put out there, like some of the more mature and adult rated stuff. I don't like to see that because I think, when you think of Nintendo, you think of kind of wholesome family, type stuff, and to see some of the very adult content. I just worry that younger kids are going to be, seeing that type of stuff. On our console, Amico, we don't allow mature rated games or violence or bad language or sexual content. I just don't allow it on the system. So everything is kind of family friendly. But, again, Nintendo is the giant, the amazing, the incredible, and there's a lot to love there. A Game with Killardree says, Tommy Tellerico, slightly off topic. Video Games Live in Berkeley was great. Oh, thank you for attending. I wanted to go to Video Games Live for 15 years, finally got to attend. However, you should update the VGL website. It's showing its age. You are, my friend, 100% correct. Videogameslive.com. I created it or had it made 18 years ago. When we first started Video Games Live, and I've never updated the site. Here's some great news for you. And thank you for coming to the show, and I'm glad you enjoyed the show. But yes, absolutely, we have completely redone the Video Games Live website, and it's going to be launching within the next couple weeks. So I totally agree. It's just one of those things on my list of oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I really got to redo this. And the new site looks so cool and so awesome. I'm really happy with it. But yes, thanks for bringing that up. You're absolutely correct. And we have a solution, and it's coming soon. Okay. Let me see. You should make an account and play with Creekcraft. That would be cool. Yes, let's do that. He can help me. It would probably be pretty entertaining, but he could help guide me. He can be my teacher in the world of Roblox. That would be awesome. I would love to do that. If Roblox gets shut down, I will move on to Geometry Dash. Roblox is not going to get shut down. No. Don't anyone think that at all. That's impossible. Even if I took them to court and I got the most that I was asking for, it's still this much from them. So no. They're not shutting down. None of this that's ridiculous talk. Don't think that. Don't say it. Not true. Tommy, percentage-wise, how far is Roblox offer compared to what you ask for? That's a good question. I'm going to answer it because I think it shows how far it is. It's about at least 100 times less, or I'm asking for 100 times more than what they are offering. So that, if they offered me $1, I'm asking for $100. So, if they offered me $1,000, that means I'm asking for $100,000, right? So $10,000. No, $1,000. Sorry. Yeah. If they were offering me $1,000, I would be asking for $100,000. So that's how far it is off. It's not even close. And I hope they come to their senses. And I know they're probably watching. I don't know. Maybe they're not. It's Saturday morning. I don't know why they do that. But if you are watching, hello, I don't hate you. I think you're awesome, and pay me. Okay. What inspires you to make music, says LR Artunist. That's a great question. For me, when I write video game music, what I do is I sit down and I play the game without any audio. I just sit there and I just wait for things to come to my head, like melodies or dun, 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 or whatever, and sometimes they're really crappy ideas. Most of the times they're crappy ideas. I'm like, that sucks. Okay, throw that away. Let me try again. And I'm just playing the game, and then things start to enter my head. And then when I go, ooh, that's cool. That's interesting. That's what I'd love to hear in this. Then I just get up, I run over to my piano, and I start trying to figure out what's in my head. I'm trying to get it down. And then when I kind of have an idea, okay, then I go up to my studio, and which is where I am now. Oh, look, that light fell out. Look at that. Wait, how ghetto is that looking? My house is falling down, people. I'm going to have to fix that. The reality is I'm so short that I'm going to need a ladder to get on there. I'm about 5'5" with sneakers on, so I'm not very tall. Anyway, what was I talking? Oh yes, creating music. Then I'll run up here, and then I start to try to, if it's a symphony sound in my head, then I start to like attach strings and the percussion and the brass and start to like, flesh out the sound. Or if it's a rock tune, I'll pick up my guitar and start figuring out the chords, and then I'll add bass and drums and all this stuff. So that's how I do it. I just wait for stuff to come to me, basically. Roblox came out before Minecraft. Okay, I was not aware of that. Thomas says Advent Rising was awesome and underrated. Yeah. Dude, you did not deserve the hate you're getting. Thank you. Hopefully after this stream, people won't hate me for doing nothing wrong. Okay. Mr. Tellerico, I didn't expect you would do a stream. I'm very glad to see you live. I hope you're doing fine despite the controversy. Thank you, Leo. It is kind of crazy. If anyone's ever been in the position of, maybe people knowing your name or, knowing your creative stuff and to put yourself out there and then to kind of be bombarded by, kind of negativity and hate for all this stuff for basically, like I said, doing nothing wrong at all. It's kind of, it sucks. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, I don't pay attention to any of that stuff and it doesn't bother me. Of course it bothers you. I'm a freaking human being, and, when you see folks that you've never met wanting you to die and telling you to, all these nasty things, what am I going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, no, that doesn't bother me at all? That if that was the case, then there's something wrong with me and you wouldn't be a human being. Anyway, let me see what else. Tommy, who was hotter in person, Morgan Webb or Kristen Bell? Oh, gosh. Huh. Wow. That's a tough question. I mean, you know what? Out of respect for my wife, I'm not going to answer that. So there you go. I do have an answer, though. How long did it take to create the oof sound? That's a great question. It took us about a year to create all the sounds for the game. So to say how much did we spend on that one sound? Obviously, we had to record it and with a bunch of other stuff. So that was a couple hours. Then you have to go through all of those takes and decide, cut them all up into individual pieces. That takes a long time. That's like days. And then once you have them all cut up, then me and Joey would sit down and I'd go through them all and pick the ones that I thought would be good. Then we kind of throw out, put aside the rest. That takes hours and hours, probably half a day. And then we start to tweak the sound, each individual sound. So again, in oof, we might have spent, a half hour trying to figure out exactly which way we should have pitched it down and what thing we would have taken and this and that, and then putting the effects on it and then maybe tailing off the end and bringing in the front and just, compressing it and making it all, EQing it and doing all these crazy things to it before we ended up saving it out. So it's really hard to, to say for one sound exactly how much, because we were working on so many at a time. But I can tell you, it wasn't something like, oh, I just took a microphone and went, oof, and that was it. You're done. That's all. No, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of my expertise and Joey's expertise in all of the things that we've learned over our career to come up with that. It wasn't just, let me see what else. Funnily enough, I edited my phone so it plays the oof sound every time I type. I want a royalty. No, I'm kidding. I want 1 cent every time you type. No, that's a joke. Okay. What else? I saw your website. You worked on Metroid Prime. What sounds did you do? That came from Creekcraft. Thank you, Creekcraft. The sounds that we did, that me and Joey as well, same person whose name's on the oof sound. Let me see. We did a lot of the visor sounds, and we did a lot of the weapon sounds. We did some of the cinematic things for it. I'll tell you a cool secret about Metroid Prime and the sound design. So mostly when I would do a game, when you do sound effects for video games, it's typically called post-production, meaning the animation has already been done, and then you say, okay, now put the sound to that animation. For example, like when we were working on Unreal 2 with Cliff Bleszinski, or Unreal Tournament, the guy who did Gears of War and all that stuff. We do that, and he'd say, hey, Tommy and Joey, check out our chain gun. And we'd see the chain gun, and then we'd go back and try to figure out a sound for that and match it to the animation. That's typically how sound design is done. Same thing with Bob and Messiah with the oof sound. It's like I saw the baby land, oof. Okay, and it's like, are you going to do a or an ah or a or a or a oof? And I decided on oof. Okay, so but with Metroid, again, this is Shigeru Miyamoto, the greatest video game designer ever of all time, bar none. Not a single person in the universe would disagree with me. And the reason he's so great is I'll give you a little insight as to how the weapon sounds he asked me to create were. Because me and Miyamoto-san have known each other for almost 30 years. And we always talked about working together. We're like, oh man, I really love all your Mario stuff. And he'd say, oh man, I love all your stuff that you do. Like, oh, we got to work together sometime, And then finally he approached me at E3, and this was before anyone even knew that Metroid was happening. Metroid Prime was happening. And he kind of pulled me over to the side. He goes, I finally have a project we can work on together. Would you be interested in doing? And I'm like, yes. Before he even I don't care what you're saying. Yes, I want to work with you. He says, well, and he laughed. And he says, well, we met Metroid Prime. We're redoing the Metroid series. I'm freaking out going, are you serious right now? Holy crap. Yes. But here's what I want to tell you in creating those sounds. Miyamoto's approach to everything is just genius. What he said is he came to me and he said, look, what I want you to do, instead of me giving you animations and then say, oh, just come up with sound for it, I'm going to do it the other way around. Tommy, I want you to come up with the the most epic weapon sounds you can. I'm not going to show you a picture, a visual. I just want you to create something that sounds amazing and that it is cool. If you had no barriers at all, just give us a bunch of epic weapon sounds. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to give those to my artists, and then they are going to be inspired by the sounds that you make, and we're going to inspire the art and the thing. Wow, so cool. So that one Metroid Prime weapon, it's kind of like, it's kind of like a charge of like, oh wow, that's so cool, that's so unique. Like we would have never have come up with that sound, after the sound effect. But what happened is they heard that and they're like, oh wow, it sounds like the whole screen is wavering or something. And so that's what they did. So that weapon was created from the sound design, which again, Shigeru Miyamoto, being the genius that he is, his idea to kind of do it the other way around. So that's cool. That's a great question, Creekcraft. I appreciate it. How did you feel when Roblox stole your oof sound? Well, I think it's, they didn't steal the sound. Stealing is when, I think the definition of stealing would be someone knowingly goes in, takes your property, and then uses it, and then sells it or steals it, uses it, whatever. That's the definition of stealing, right? Roblox didn't realize that they didn't have permission to use the sound. So saying that they stole anything, I don't think that's not a correct term at all. They didn't steal my sound. They grabbed my property from a website that they didn't realize may not have been on the up and up, and they didn't know this until I did. So, the fact that it still remains in the game after I let them know, we're still negotiating. It's proof that I haven't told them to take the sound out of the game. It's still in there because we're trying to work it out because I want to keep the sound in the game. So anyway, yeah, that's the question there. Okay, is the baby from Messiah called the Oof Baby? It is now. His name was Bob, but now he should just be called the Oof Baby. I agree. What do you think about Roblox as a company? Unrelated to the sound that again, he used the word stole. I don't use that sound. I use the word mistakenly used. Okay. So also, funny enough, I edited my phone so it plays the Oof sound. Okay. What do you think about Roblox as a company? Unrelated to the sound. I honestly don't know much about them. So I don't feel I have enough information to comment on them. I haven't, like I said, I kind of knew about the game. I knew it was super popular, but I never played it. I never followed the company. So I feel like I don't have enough information to, to answer that question properly. So yeah, I mean, now what do I think about them related to my sound? That I just think they're high. I think they're, I don't think they're doing what's best for the community or what's best for me. And that's where we stand right now. I think they're nuts and disrespectful to me at this moment. But again, that's just my own personal feelings. And I hope we can come together. And I'm just being honest. That's how I feel right now. But I don't wish any ill will on them. We're just in a disagreement right now, and we want it to. Hopefully, we all want it to be over soon. We will always remember that one kid on Twitter who told you to get off Roblox. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Gosh, so many things here. Okay. Let me go to the front. I'm actually going to go to the front of the thing. So I apologize if I missed your question. So I'm now right at the beginning. So if you want to ask me a question right now, because I do want to wrap this up within the next, maybe I'll do like 15 minutes more of answering your questions. Been on now for an hour and 20 minutes. That's a long time. But anyway, so if anyone has a question, ask me right now and I'll see it. Okay. Gamer Wars 6, Lucian says. Yeah, I think you should tweet the Mega 64 guys and say that you demand it and that I'm raring and willing to go to do a Gamer Wars. Question, could we see a version of Roblox in the Intellivision Amico? You never know. I would love that. That's why, hey, Roblox, if you're watching, let's put a version of Roblox on Amico and that would be super cool. I'd love that. Okay, what else? Is there a price for the Amico? We're still working on the exact price. We know it's going to be around $200, but it's going to come with 2 controllers, and you can hook up to 8 mobile devices to the system as well. And the controllers are really cool because they have a color touch screen, and a microphone and a speaker and accelerometer and a gyroscope and an RFID built within the whole system. So it's a really amazing value. In fact, the two biggest things that I always tell all our employees and tell everybody, the two biggest things that we always want to accomplish with the Amico, the two most important things are trust with our consumers and value. Those are the two most important things. So we don't have loot boxes or DLC stuff, or we're not going to advertise to your face all the time. None of that stuff. It's not allowed on our system. It's just getting back to the core of gaming. People in a room together playing games, having fun. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And our 4 pillars of our company are simple, affordable, family, and entertainment. Those are the 4 things. And those 4 words, if you notice, spell out safe. So for all you Roblox players out there, imagine if there were games that you could play with your mom and dad, or maybe grandparents, or older brothers or cousins or nieces or nephews, whatever. What if everyone, because you probably play Roblox and your parents are like, oh God, Roblox, you're always on that thing, get off, and they're not like playing with you. Imagine if you could play games together with them and everybody was having fun together. Kind of like maybe what you do when you play a card game with your family or a board game with your family. That's what we want to bring back to the video game industry that we feel is completely missing, because a lot of these controllers and systems, they're so complicated for casual gamers out there, right? So we just want to simplify it all. Okay. Overseer the Newt says, Tommy Tellerico, I'm going to ask this again. How did Roblox access your oof sound, and why did Roblox use your oof sound? Overseer, you should check out from the beginning. I talked about it earlier, but how did Roblox get access to it? It was I don't know the exact answer because I wasn't there in the room when it happened, but my understanding is they may have pulled it off of a website that said that all these sounds are public domain and free, when in fact they were not. So I believe that's how it came to be. Wouldn't the Amico Roblox have to be 2D or 2.5D? That's a great question, Brock Frazier. Yeah, we would probably have to do a version that was different. Maybe we would do a different version of Roblox that everybody could play, that wasn't kind of, 3D. Maybe it was something completely different and new that your parents could play as well. Okay, so Ben Dover, you deserve a spanking, my child. Your parents should wash your mouth out with soap, and there you go. You're clearly, signaling to the rest of the fine folks here your immaturity, and that's all I got to say to you. And now I'm going to ignore you because you are nasty. Okay, next, great slogan. It looks and sounds amazing with modern day. Yeah, our slogan of Intellivision is "Together Again." That's the slogan. Tommy Tellerico, what's an Amico? Go to IntellivisionAmico.com to check it out, or go to our Intellivision YouTube page, and there's a whole bunch of videos about how we made the system, or how we're making the system. It shows the system, it shows the games, it shows everything. So check it out. And by the way, Amico is the Italian word for friend. That's why I chose that name. What will be the specs of the Amico? OC Leg asks. OC Leg, if you go on our website, and you scroll down on the first page, there's a thing that says specs, and it shows all of the specs, because there's a lot of them, and I don't want to bore everyone, but you can check them out on our website, and I appreciate asking that. Okay, what else? Will you ever play Roblox? Asks Sheep YT. I think I would like to, and I think I'd love to do it with Creekcraft. So maybe we can talk about hooking that up. That would be very cool, I think. the new generation of gamer tries to teach the older generation. I think that would be super cool. What was the last AAA game you were contracted for? I think it was probably one of the Sonic games, Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a pretty big franchise. But quite frankly, I haven't been doing music and sound design for the rest of other games because I'm doing all of the music and sound design with Joey Curris, the same person who's been one of my best friends for like over, 40, almost coming on 40 years, 35 years at least. We're focused on doing all the sound design and stuff for all the new Intellivision Amico games. So, yes. Hey, there's Francois Tremblay, big Intellivision fan. You could make another game different, but with the oof sound for Amico. That's true. I might make an entire Amico game around the oof sound. If Roblox doesn't buy it from me entirely, and then I wouldn't have the right to use it. But maybe I can put a little thing in the contract saying I can use it in the Amico, in Amico. Okay. Bend over. No, I don't want to say okay. Yes. Tommy, are you mad at Roblox for stealing your sound? No, I'm not mad at them because they didn't. Again, we got to be careful the terminology we use. I don't think they stole it. Stole it means they purposely went out and purposely stole something. It was a mistake, it was something they knowingly did not know they were doing. That is like a double negative. But anyway, it was, I know they intentionally did not go out and steal. You can't use the word steal. It's not appropriate. Okay. I love Roblox, but Roblox should just pay you so it doesn't get worse. I agree. Thank you, Matthew Robbins. Funny Boy says, hi, Tommy. I say, hi, Funny Boy. What about you and Roblox? What about you and Roblox working together? Yeah, I love that. We're actually discussing maybe some ways that would be beneficial for everyone to work together. So that's cool. Roblox doesn't hate me. I don't hate them. It's just a difference of opinion on whether or not I help to bring millions of people to their game or not, and what that is worth. So that's where we're at. Okay. Dude, I'm a big fan of Roblox. Please do not remove the sound. Not really my decision. Roblox could remove the sound tomorrow if they wanted to. I'm telling them, I've never told them stop using the sound. Never, ever, ever said that. So if they do it, that's their decision, not mine. Moon Patrol music is great. Thomas says, thank you. So in fact, if people want to play it's a little kind of preview tease of one of the games on Amico. There was an old game that came out in 1982 called Moon Patrol. It was this epic. It was one of the first games that had parallax scrolling. That means like the backgrounds would kind of like move on different planes. And it was called Moon Patrol, and it was really a great game. So I got the rights and licenses to redo it like 35 years later or 40 years later. And if you can download our app, it's called Amico Club. And we're going to be putting a ton of new stuff on there. But it's Amico Club for both the iPhone and for Android. So you can get it in the Google Store or the Apple Store. Just look up Amico Club. You download it. And we kind of combined a little AR in there as well, augmented reality. So what you have to do is when you download the app, if you take your phone and point it at the Intellivision Amico logo, the logo comes to life, and then it starts a little 20-second version of the game Moon Patrol, which you can play right there on your phone. Just kind of a fun little thing we did. So if you go to our website, Intellivision Amico, you can see the logo there. If you go into like our shirt section or the shop section, you can see it on a shirt or whatever. But it's just kind of a fun thing to, get it. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Hi, Tommy. Roblox should learn from you. Intellivision was so worried about IP since the beginning and remains like that always. Even Keith was always clear about the question. There are some games exclusive rights to Mattel, and this is credibility, something that Roblox shows is already missing. They are removing the sound, even though the majority of the community said do not. Also, will you ever make Messiah 2 or a spinoff for it? I didn't make Messiah 2. Shiny Entertainment did, and now Interplay owns the rights to that. So it would be up to Interplay to decide if they want to do a Messiah 2. It wouldn't be up to me. But, and okay, again, if Roblox removes the sound, that's their decision. But that's their decision, not mine. So you'd have to talk to them about that, not me. I'd rather them just pay me and them own the sound forever so that it stays in the game. Okay. Matthew Robbins says, play Roblox. It will be fun. Let me see. We're at the hour and 30 mark here. So thank you, everyone, for being here and listening to me drone on for 90 minutes. And thank you so much for having enough interest to come here and listen to me waffle on. And I hope that folks will continue checking out the Intellivision Amico. That's my passion and the thing that I'm doing. I hope that some of you get a chance to come out to Video Games Live someday. So you can check out videogameslive.com for that. And really, if you follow me on Twitter or my Facebook page, because I do so many things, that's kind of like the conduit of knowing about all of the things that are happening with me and the company and all the different companies I do and everything like that. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate all of the support and love that I've been getting from the Roblox community. Let's hope Roblox comes to their senses and all of this will be over with. All this drama. So thank you so much, everyone. I really, really appreciate you coming here today, and have fun playing Roblox.